Hey everybody, welcome to Everything About Edmonton Real Estate, and this is our very first episode. Today I'm honored to have David Edmiston from Pacesetter Homes joining us today. David comes from real estate royalty. I started working in real estate in 1985, and I started working with his father, and I met David since he was 12 years old.
Ha.
David's has had real estate in his blood since he was born. So David, welcome.
Thank you for having me today, Serge. It's my pleasure to come on board your show and talk about the things that I know about, and that's predominantly new homes and the Edmonton new home market. What would you like to do to get started?
Well, first of all, why don't you tell us a bit about Pacesetter? Because maybe a lot of our viewers today aren't familiar with Pacesetter Homes.
Well, that's a really interesting topic, and I can speak quite a bit about it. I actually started my career early on with Qualico Group of Companies, and that's the parent company of Pacesetter. And then I left them and sold used real estate and new homes for other companies over a period of time. And I came back to them about 10 years ago. They're actually the largest and oldest land development and home building company in all of Western Canada. And they're a family-owned company, and they started in 1951 in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's a wonderful company. I've been with them for the past decade, and they are Edmonton's #1 home builder, and they have been for over 5 years.
So when you say they're the #1 home builder, in what category? Number of units sold, number of homes built, what?
I guess I always look at that type of metric, and I think of the volume as being the most important vote in the marketplace. We think about, the most popular car or the most popular restaurant. Well, it's probably the most popular because it represents the best mix of value, price, features, service. And Pacesetter Homes is the #1 home builder in the city of Edmonton by volume and has been for over 5 years.
Mm-hmm. So, tell us about how this COVID-19 situation has changed how you're doing business.
It's changed it dramatically, Serge. We're doing a lot more work via video conferencing, although we are still open in the show homes, but we're taking extra measures. So surfaces and doorknobs are being wiped down between clients. We're only allowing one client in the show home at a time. So, one family comes in, they come into a clean, sanitized environment. They're safe in that environment, and they spend that time with us. And when they finish, we allow the next person to come in. It's actually working really well. If anything, it provides a higher level of customer service because they have more one-on-one. I'm noticing that show home traffic had been down. It's actually picking up now. It's been really busy over the last 2 weeks. But in terms of how it's changed how we do business, we're having to do so much more via remote access. Sales are still bustling. We actually finalized 17 sales just last week. So we had one of our best weeks in this year, actually, just last week.
I totally agree. I've noticed an uptick in the number of people going out looking at homes. At this time, I was out with different buyers last week. I sold 2 homes over.
Good for you.
And I'm off again after this, showing another buyer another home. So there's still buyers out there, but of course, as you mentioned, we have to take different precautions like wearing gloves, masks, having sanitizing wipes, and of course hand sanitizer. But in real estate, it's still happening. So we got to just keep that in mind. Just because of COVID-19 virus is here does not mean that the world comes to an end. But
you're absolutely right.
Have you found that builders are now offering discounted prices during this time to make it a great buying opportunity, just to entice people to come out and have a look at their homes?
That's a great question. And, I think every home builder in the city of Edmonton has probably responded to the marketplace. Pacesetter adjusted some of their pricing on certain products at the beginning of the year, just because of the existing market conditions being a little bit softer than maybe we'd seen in years past. When COVID hit us, we offered additional discounts and promotions. We actually have the best pricing we've had in probably close to a decade. We've got phenomenal arrangements with most developers where they're actually helping to reduce the overall cost as well. So just as a sideline, I had a client reach out to me and he said, I'm waiting until prices drop. And I said, well,
Right.
you might want to come in and have a conversation with me. He came in and he ended up buying a house from me, because what he figured out is that prices had dropped and selection is still abundant. And he didn't want to wait until there was nothing left.
Right. Well, I mean, that's particularly true, of course, with new home builders, because one of the restrictions that you have that limits you is the number of lots that are available. And,
Yes.
at this point, you have a certain number of lots that are available to you, and eventually those are going to be sold. And then all of a sudden, it'll take time for the developers to, open up their subdivisions, and add new lots on the market. And right now, I think they're sitting on the sidelines waiting to see.
Yeah, I think you're actually right on the money on that. I mean, we're starting to see people come back into the marketplace. I wonder if that's a precursor to a flood of buyers that we would normally see in the spring market.
Well, it's an interesting point that you bring up, because, I know that I've experienced this in talking to people is I get a lot of people who tell me, Serge, either they don't want to go out at the moment because of the COVID virus. They just want to wait until the pandemic is over. I have others that are telling me, Serge, I'm going to sit by the sideline because I think this is going to put downward pressure on valuations and homes are going to be cheaper. And that is possible, without a doubt that that's possible. However, one of the things that I kind of concerned about for those people is that what's happening is now we're creating a pent-up demand that's just, they're not buying, but that number of people that are waiting is growing and growing and growing.
We've
And
seen this before.
I've seen it before, exactly. And as soon as things get better, all of a sudden they rush into the market thinking, okay, now we've bottomed out. But usually by that point, things are already going back up again, because all of a sudden you're going to have this huge flood of people coming on the market. Now you're going to have an excess number of buyers in relation to the inventory available. And so law of supply and demand says, if I have more demand than I have supply, then prices go up. And that's a great possibility that that could happen. So, there's an old saying in real estate, and it's not trying to time the market. It's time in the market that's important. So
Indeed.
the sooner you get in there and buy, as long as you get a good deal, you negotiate a great deal right at this time, which right now people are negotiating, and you can negotiate a great deal now. And then now you can be in that home and you can start making your payments, and therefore you're acquiring equity sooner, and you're going to have that mortgage paid off sooner. So I'm not a big fan of trying to time the market, because usually by the time people have figured it out, oh, we've peaked or we're at the bottom, it's actually too late. They've missed it. Right?
I guess for me, I agree with you 100%. And I had a financial analyst one time talk to me about real estate and investing, and he said, if you ever have buyers that are sitting on the fence, he said something to remind them is, waiting to buy a house is kind of like waiting to save for retirement. It gives you less time to build up in that marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really viable point, and it makes a lot of sense with what you just said there.
Exactly. As you know, I was a financial advisor and a stockbroker for 10 years in my previous life. And, we would see people trying to time the market, and those are the people who always got slapped.
Yes, 100%.
They always were getting caught, and they were getting in too late, getting in too early, or, and it's impossible to do. There's people who have better track records than others, but it's impossible to do consistently. So, timing the market is much more important than timing the market. Now, David, we're talking about how you guys had discounted pricing and offering great promotions at this time. There are other things that could, of course, help buyers acquire a home in this market and at this time. And one of the things is the Flex Down program. Can you tell us a bit about that program?
It's a wildly popular program, Serge. It's actually designed to allow buyers that have not yet saved up their down payment an opportunity into home ownership. And I mean, I've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of buyers over the span of my career to purchase homes using programs just like that one, where even if they haven't saved up their entire down payment, they can use other strategies in order to buy the home now.
Hmm. So with the flex down, it's possible to get, if you have good credit rating and you have the income to support it, to get up to 100% financing, correct?
100% accurate.
Yeah. Now, of course, the government's come out with a program to help first-time home buyers. It's called the First-Time Home Buyer Incentive Program. Are you finding that a lot of your first-time buyers are taking advantage of that program?
Serge, honestly, every single buyer who is able to qualify for the program is taking it. The government is giving 10% of the value of the home, and it's effectively a 25-year interest-free loan. So, I mean, when you buy a house and you put 5% down, and the government puts 10% down, you've got a 15% down payment on your home. Your payments are reduced dramatically.
Of course. And of course, you just mentioned the 10%. Now, 10% from the government, that's only for new homes. If they want
Correct.
to take advantage of this first-time home buyer program and they're buying a resale home, of course, they're only going to give 5% for those
Correct.
purchases. Now, you have another program that is a little different than the flex down, but also can help with down payment, and that's the cashback program.
We do. We work with a couple of different lenders to provide a cashback program, and again, I've had hundreds, if not thousands, of people take advantage of cashback programs over the years. Probably the most common use for them is to pay out debts. People who've already saved up their down payment, buy a house, and maybe they don't want to have zero in their bank account, or maybe they don't want to move into the new home and still be carrying a car loan or a credit card debt. The bank is there for them, and they provide that cash back. And in that moment, they're able to wipe out all of that debt. In fact, I have countless homeowners that have moved into their homes with me and actually experienced a lower overall monthly cost because of the restructuring that we've done and utilizing the cash back. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, Now, could you tell us about maybe some of the better programs you have available, and maybe some of what you think are some of your best deals you have going on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually made a couple notes. I'm just going to reference my notes here. I've got, not sure if you're aware, but certainly for your audience, this home builder actually builds in 34 different locations in Edmonton and surrounding area. That's actually more than any other home builder. We are the largest, so we have the most selection.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the best value, and I've got homes without condo fees starting from $550 biweekly, and those will actually have a two-car garage, a yard. I've got double attached garage houses starting from $644 biweekly, and I've got luxury homes and walkout basement homes starting from $704 biweekly. So truly a once in a lifetime opportunity to enter the marketplace with a very, very affordable monthly overall cost.
Well, based on the numbers you're telling me, in a lot of cases, they can get into a brand new home that they actually own, start earning equity for lower than they're paying rent right now.
It's incredible, and we're helping people every day because of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, as you mentioned before, your show home is open to the public, but of course you're restricting one couple in at a time, one group in at a time. What are your hours of operation at the show home?
Well, we're open from 3 until 8 p.m., Monday through Thursday. And then on the weekends, we're open from noon until 5. We do encourage clients to reach out to us in advance and book an appointment so that, we have that time set aside for them. But
Right.
we are open for business.
Okay. Now, we kind of talked a little bit about, what the market is doing now and what might happen. I mean, what are your thoughts? Well, I mean, what have you experienced and what do you think we're going to be seeing going forward?
That's a really great question, and I've been asked that question a lot. You know, I've been in the industry for almost 3 decades now, and you know, I suppose that when the market is really high and really hot, I know that in a very short period of time it would likely soften. And I know that when the market is really soft, in a relatively short period of time, it'll usually firm up and go up. And I've seen that over my career. I mean, when I started selling new homes in the city of Edmonton, you could buy a brand new home for under $100,000. And we've watched those numbers steadily rise throughout my career. Um, I guess if it were me in the marketplace today, I'd be looking to try and secure something that I really wanted to live in. And I think that because of the COVID outbreak and the soft Alberta economy, it's creating a once in a lifetime buying opportunity for home buyers. I
Hmm.
think that they can have more today relative to their income than they've ever been able to buy. And in most cases, they can buy it with little or no down payment and potentially even have money left over at the end to pay off bills.
Right. I tend to agree with you. I mean, real estate is always in a cycle. There's always a period of tremendous growth, and then we peak, and then we have a bit of a recession, and then valuations drop again. But it's just an ebb and flow. But the overall trend is always upwards. It's always been going upwards. When I started in real estate, you could buy a single family home from roughly about $50,000 in some cases, and those homes are now selling for 4 to 6 times what those prices were back then. Uh,
Incredible.
and that's what happens over a longer period of time. So yeah, right now I think is a great buying opportunity. Valuations have come down, and the builders are offering great programs at the moment, great promotions, great discounts, and if you're able to get yourself into those positions now, we know that this market is going to bottom out and is going to come back up again. And the people who take advantage of it now are the people who are going to benefit. It's like the old saying in investment, the golden rule: buy low, sell high. And we know that right now we are in a low portion of the cycle, and now is a perfect opportunity to buy. And always keep in mind that real estate is a long-term investment, right? So don't expect to buy now and sell it 2, 3 years from now and expect guaranteed that you're going to have growth and equity. Not necessarily. But if you hold it for the long term, we know that real estate values over the long term have always gone up. So make that investment. Make the investment in yourself, your future of your family, by getting into that home at a great time, at a great price, which is now.
I think that's absolutely incredible advice, Serge. And, I hope that the people who are able to tune into this program are able to take that information to heart. I can't help but wonder how many people will wait thinking that a better time is coming around the corner, only to miss this once in a lifetime buying opportunity where prices and interest rates are at all-time or multi-year lows. And the guidelines for purchasing a home have never been easier. And then throw into that the fact that the government will actually contribute 10% of the value of your home. Once in a lifetime opportunity.
Mm-hmm. So wonderful. David, do you have any last thoughts that you want to share with everybody before we wrap it up?
Well, I did have a couple of questions for you, Serge.
Sure. Go ahead.
Uh, I guess what I was wondering was if you were a home buyer today, what would you do in this marketplace?
Well, right now, I would definitely be looking to buy. I mean, this is, as we talked about over the last few minutes, this is a buying opportunity. You know, the market is down, and with the interest rates being at all-time lows, I can't remember last time that I saw interest rates on mortgages as low as they are today. You got low interest rates, you got great values out there, you got builders offering great promotions and discount. This is the time to buy.
I agree 100%. I showed a client a house last night. It's a nearly 1,700 square foot walkout home near a pond in southwest Edmonton, across the street from a ravine, for $410,000. And as we looked at the property, we remarked upon the fact that, you know, it's never been this price before. And as we talk about this house in this video, I wonder if we look at this video 5 years from now, how much that house will actually be.
You know, that would be really interesting to do. And
Yeah.
but you know, we can always tell by looking at history what happens. And you know, history has taught us that after things go down, they go up. So I'm not too worried about that. So now's the opportunity, and the people who capitalize on opportunities are always people who benefit.
It's the truth. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Can you think of anything else that you wanted to talk about on my end?
No, I want to thank you very much for being with us today and sharing and telling us a little bit about Pacesetter and what's happening in the new home market. And if anyone is thinking about buying a new home, you can either contact me and I'll introduce you to David, or you can always reach David at Pacesetter. Where location are you at the moment?
My offices are in Durocher, and it's a community in South Edmonton. It's a hospital and LRT community that has schools and shopping. Most of the areas that we build in, we've handpicked our areas to build in so that we have the highest level of amenities as per other areas that are near that area. And that allows clients to buy something that meets their needs in the moment that they buy, and then in the time going forward from that moment, and then also provides them with a high level of resale value. And that's probably one of the things that this company is most known for.
Right. So, you know, David is say probably one of the most experienced new home representative out there that definitely help you make sure that your transaction goes smoothly and you have a great home. But even though that he's based out of Edmonton, David has the ability to sell any of those 34, or is it 34 locations?
34 locations.
34 locations across Edmonton and or the greater Edmonton area. So it doesn't really matter where you want to go to, where you want to build. What you want to do is you want to talk to David. So David, again, thank you very much. And
thank you, Serge.
Work. I know you're going to be opening up the show home here in a few minutes, so I'll let you go. And take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Have a great day, everybody.